Hey friends, welcome back to Jenny Food and My Kitchen. So far on this channel, I've showed you recipes that I make for my friends, for my family, for catering jobs and church events, but today I'm switching it up. Today, it's all about me. I'm going to show you two of my favorite breakfast recipes that I enjoy all by myself. I'm going to be meal prepping a crustless quiche that I make with spinach and fresh dill and red pepper and onion and feta. And alongside that, we're gonna do some homemade chicken sausage patties. Pair these two with a bougie cup of coffee and you've got a good morning as far as I'm concerned. Let's do this. All right, friends, to start, I've got all of my ingredients prepped up. I'm gonna begin with 1.5 tablespoons of butter. I'm gonna go ahead and smear this completely in our pan because I want this quiche to come out without any problems. You know I don't like to fight a pan, right? So we'll start with that. I've got 8 eggs that we're gonna whip up with a cup of heavy cream. And to that, I'm gonna put down 3 cups of chopped spinach. Now, this is about 3 ounces or half a 6-ounce bag is how it came. And when I make quiche with spinach in it, I never use frozen. I just wouldn't do that. I recommend using fresh if you're gonna make a quiche with spinach because then you're not fighting that water and moisture. It's just easier to buy fresh. I mean, it's not much more expensive. We're talking pennies here. And it just comes out better when you don't have to fight that moisture. So then I've got half a cup of diced onion. And I've got 1 cup, or this is 1 complete, this is about 1/3 of an onion. This is 1 red pepper chopped fine, which is about 1 cup. I mean, it was just a tiny bit over 1 cup. And then I've got 1 cup of feta cheese, because you know I love me some feta. And this is the wow ingredient of this quiche, and that is 1 tablespoon of fresh dill. Now don't skip this. This just makes it that, you know, bougie quiche that you wanted to eat with a fancy cup of coffee, and we're gonna make those fancy chicken patties. I mean, don't skip the dill. All right, so let's get going. I'm gonna scoot all of these over to the side, and then we will, first of all, I'm just gonna go in with my clean hands, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna butter this plate well, and then I'm gonna have to wash my hands. But I don't want this quiche to stick. The goal is to make this come out really smooth and easy. You know what I'm saying? I have got a busy week ahead of me, and I'm also coming off of a road trip that, man, I ate some fantastic food, but I was paying for it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I've got to do a little bit of a reset now that I'm home and get back to just some good, clean protein and vegetables. Because it was fun, but I really overdid it. But, you know, that's where I get inspiration for recipes, and I love to try new things. So that looks good. I got a little bit of butter left over, but that's, you know, that's kind of what you want to do. You want to go ahead and you want to give it a good amount of butter. So let me get this off my hands and we'll be right back. All right, so now we're ready to put this quiche together. So I'm going to go ahead and crack my 8 eggs right into the bowl. This is one of those recipes that absolutely, my husband will not eat this. My granddaughter also will not eat this because it has peppers and onions in it. So, I don't mind because I know that at least for this week, I will have some good breakfast. While we were on our trip, I was able to get some really good coffee in Nashville from a friend. And so this week I'm gonna have some delicious breakfast with good coffee, and to me that's the perfect way to start the day. So to our 8 eggs, I am just gonna add that 1 cup of heavy cream right in there. And then we'll just go ahead and whisk that all together. Quiche is one of my favorite things to make. I love that you can do it so many different ways. And I love that I've gotten my husband, he'll eat quiche. It just has to have like man ingredients, you know, like bacon and sausage and cheese, like regular cheese. But he will eat it, which is, it's a victory. All right, that looks good. And we'll just set that aside. Now, to build this quiche, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of layer the ingredients, and then we're going to dump that in so that it's all like, you'll get, you know, spinach and egg and onion and feta, spinach and egg, you know, so it's all nice and layered. So I'm going to start with our spinach, and I'm going to lay some of that down on the bottom. And then I'm going in with some red pepper, and we'll sprinkle that in. Just that red and green is so pretty. And then we'll go in with some onions, and we'll do the same thing. Oops, that did not break apart. There we go. Put some onions in there. Now, I will add, you know, we'll do like a pinch at a time of dill, fresh dill. Kind of get that spread around in there. Oh, that smells good already. And then we'll take a little bit of feta cheese. You know, I'm really only making this for myself, but it is so rare that I do something like this because I still will have to cook for the rest of them, you know what I'm saying? But it is nice to have something good for me. All right, so then we'll start over again, and we'll do, I would say we'll go in thirds. So there is more spinach, and then we'll put more red pepper, and maybe I won't use all of this. Maybe I was being a little, maybe I will. I don't know. We'll see. Sometimes when I do this, I use a deep dish quiche pan, but today I've just kind of got the regular. All right, and then we'll go in with some of our feta. This is going to be really good. All right. And then lastly, we'll go in with half of the dill that's left. We'll just get that all over the place. Oh, I can't wait for this. All right, that's good. And then we'll just go in one more time, and we'll put the rest of our spinach on top. And really, when you've got a crustless quiche and you've got veggies, I mean, you can kind of almost get it right to the top. And that's kind of where we're at. You know what? I'm going to leave probably, I'm going to say that we probably needed about 3/4 cup of red pepper. And I'll put that in the description box because I think a cup is going to be just a tad too much. All right. And probably, let's see, that's a 1/2 cup. Well, I think I'll use the whole 1/2 cup of onion. I like onion, so, and this is for me. All right. And then lastly, we'll do the rest of that feta right on top. All right. Kind of move that around a little bit, smash it, break up some of those bigger pieces. All right. That looks, I mean, shoot, that looks delicious already. All right, and then the rest of our tablespoon of fresh dill, I'm just gonna kind of place that all over the top. All right. Now I've got to rinse my fingers. I'll be right back. All right, so all we have left to do is just to carefully pour our whipped eggs and heavy cream over top. And I just kind of like to go all the way around. Give it a chance to get all the way in there. I cannot wait to dig into this. All right. That looks amazing. I am so excited about this. I'm just going to take a quick spoon and I'm just going to kind of press those ingredients down, kind of even it all out. Get that spinach kind of in there if there's anybody hanging out on the sides. But that looks amazing. Oh my goodness. Sometimes you just got to take good care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? And that is me today. Today, this is about me. All right, our quiche is ready to go in the oven. I've got that preheated to 350 and we're gonna cook this for an hour. And while that's cooking, we're gonna get started on our chicken sausage. So it's gonna be good. And just like that, we're moving on to our chicken sausage. Now, I have got 1 pound of ground chicken in this bowl right here. You could also use ground turkey, which I mostly use ground turkey, but when I went to the store, this ground chicken was on sale and I know I can swap those out. So I went ahead with ground chicken and it's going to be delicious. I've got the rest of our ingredients right here. I've got our spices. I'm going to mix them in this little dish before I put them in. So I want 2 teaspoons of poultry seasoning. And that's got sage, thyme, marjoram, and a little rosemary. And then I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of parsley. And that'll just give it that pretty color. I mean, we're not looking for a lot of flavor, but it'll just make it feel like fancy sausage. And then I've got 1 teaspoon of garlic powder. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And then we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, I normally use the Redmond's Real, but I have to get to the Amish store, so I'm on my backup salt. I keep this little salt shaker, and just in case I run out, so I'm going to have to go get some of that. So a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then our last ingredient is some of my friends, and this was from 2023, canned maple syrup. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that in there. Well, I guess we'll go with that today. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mix this all together in my spices. And then we'll put that right in the chicken. All right. And then get all that out. I normally wouldn't put the maple syrup in with the spices. It's been a crazy day. All right, let's push those off to the side. And then with clean hands, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to mix all of that seasoning into this chicken. And just kind of move it around, kind of smash it. Get all that seasoning into that chicken. And then we're just going to cook it into patties. We've got about 35 minutes left on our quiche. So by the time that's cooked and cooled, actually I probably will eat it almost right out of the oven because nobody's home. And so I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee and I'm going to enjoy a good breakfast in quiet. Doesn't happen that often for me. All right, just like that, our sausage has come together. I'm gonna get this skillet going on about a medium-high heat, and I'm gonna put down just a little bit of olive oil in the pan. And then we'll give that a second to separate and to kind of heat up. And then we're gonna start going in with our chicken patties. I'm just gonna drop those in the pan and then just press them down slightly with my fingers. Doesn't have to be perfectly round. Friends, look at that beautiful quiche that just came out of the oven. It is ready to slice. We've got our chicken sausage all ready. All I need to do is make me a bougie cup of coffee, and then we will go ahead and taste. All right, friends, the moment of truth, here it is. I've got this bougie breakfast that's just for me. Got that veggie, spinach, onion, red pepper, feta, fresh dill quiche. Yes, all my favorite things. That is so good. And that just really, that seems like a lot of dill, but it kind of goes into the background. Oh, that's so good. I'm gonna have to go in for another bite. That is perfect. All right, let's give our sausage a try. I've got my bougie cup of coffee all ready. Yes. This is how I breakfast. That is so good. And the best thing about that is you know exactly what's in that. I think I like that chicken even just a little bit better than the turkey. That is so good. Wow. That's how Jenny do breakfast. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm gonna take this plate and my cup of coffee and I'm gonna go sit while it's quiet and enjoy this breakfast. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment if you're gonna try this. I'm telling you, it is delicious. This would be great for company, or if you just want to, you know, be kind to yourself. You should make this. I'll see you next time. That is really good.